Yo, welcome back everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Got the boys here, Cloyd and EJ.
Hey.
Hello, sir. Yo.
So, again, a lot of things happening. But right now, we'll just talk about something just breaking news though. Kemba Walker. We were actually just before about to start recording, about to talk about something else first, but prayers for Kemba Walker. Hopefully he gets better.
4 minutes ago, bro.
Yeah. Well, from today it's crazy neck injury. I hope he gets better. He's actually doing, really well with the Celtics, and they're doing really well as well. So it's just a bit unfortunate. So hopefully he can get back soon and help the Celtics run back again.
Yeah, maybe number one.
We were just saying Lakers Celtics number one.
Well, yeah, just before we're about to start recording, we just quickly had a look and we were saying how thought Celtics were back on top, but it was Milwaukee at the moment. But anyway, hopefully it gets better soon. All right, moving on. Big news. Melo. Blazers signed him back. What do you think? Thoughts?
I just saw this meme on Facebook, and it says Trailblazers already had a 0. Why are you leaving, bro? Trailblazers has a 0, then they added another 0, and now that resulted in 0 wins. I mean, I'm happy for him. He's back.
He's had decent games too.
Yeah,
it's not like he was unproductive either.
I think in the first game though, he had he was playing really good at first, and then he had 5 straight misses, and it was just he could have passed the ball, bro. He's back to his old self.
I think that's just him kicking back to his natural instincts, because he's normally a volume shooter, so he's got to. I think for him, he feels the need that he has to kind of try step up.
Shooting a lot of threes though.
Yeah.
It's way better than his inefficient mid-range jump shots. I don't know. I'm happy for Melo.
What do you think though? Have you seen the box scores when he plays the game? He actually moves aside for CJ McCollum to do his thing.
I think if Damian comes back, if Lillard comes back, then they can probably be a better team. But right now it's just Melo's trying to be the top player, but as you said, he's making way for CJ McCollum. But you can see by the way he's playing, when it's second quarter, third quarter, it's not the same. But he is getting minutes. He's getting 22 minutes a game at least.
Yeah. What do you reckon though? He's starting. Sorry, are you good?
I guess as I said, I'm happy for Melo. But I personally don't like the move for the Blazers, because I recently checked when I saw that post for that Melo signed with the Blazers. I immediately checked their record and the defensive stats or defensive rankings for the Blazers. They're bottom 10 in defensive rankings overall, the Trailblazers.
So this is before.
This is this season right now.
All right, yeah.
And so I think in a way it was a bit of a panic move. But they're 5-10 right now. And yeah, I just, as much as I wanted Melo to be back in the league, I think they needed more. The Blazers needed more defense. I don't think they needed Melo. They needed more defense. They lost Aminu. They lost Mo Harkless, which was two very defensive-minded guys. Excuse me. And when they lost them, when Mo Harkless went to Clippers and Aminu went to the Magic, I feel that's where half of their defense was gone, in their wings especially. They got Kent Bazemore, they got Ronnie Hood, and all those types of people, but they're letting big scorelines into the past couple games, or at least 130 in some of these games. I mean, do they want more offense? I guess that's what they want to go with. Then yeah, sure, but they need to really step it up on defense. So for me, as a person who really is a low key fan of the Blazers and like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, for those guys to not only just who were Western Conference finalists, yeah, it's not looking good in terms of their defense and how they're starting in the first month of the season.
No, I agree. I think also because I agree with you. The fact that it's a panic it's kind of like a panic kind of move, because when Lillard is out for because of an injury, I think they probably felt like they kind of need like an offensive type of like help.
Yeah.
And I think that like Melo was kind of like one of the probably seemed like the most viable option for Blazers to go with, and so that's why like they kind of maybe made that move and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good move in terms of like publicity. But like I said, like I remembered before from I think Lillard, he had a. This is when Melo moved to the Rockets. Lillard was in a podcast, not our one, but
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to.
I mean, Lillard, yeah. If you want to come down to Australia, or if he can come to you, Anyway, he was in a podcast and he was discussing about Melo, and he was like, yeah, the first time when he was at the Knicks and there were rumors about him getting traded, he was like the first one that really advocated for him to come to the Blazers. Didn't work. Went to the Thunder, and then when
Thunder didn't want him.
When Thunder didn't want him, he went second time, and he's like, didn't he get him? They went to the Rockets, and he's like, the host was like, so does that mean you'll never ask Melo to become a Blazer ever again? I was like, nah, it's pretty much like slim chances now. I'm not gonna really advocate. I'm done with trying to get Melo. And I feel like, while Melo is, look, from what I've seen so far, from what I've seen from like the highlights and all that, he's still pretty decent. But I think it's still too little, too late for him to win a championship.
Yeah. Well, but that's why, that's why I think when you see kind of like on paper, you see he doesn't really take as much shot attempts as he like would normally do.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have it there, but it's not as much as it used to be. And so that's why, like, you kind of see I think he is slowly trying to progress that he's not what he's used to be. And I think he's trying to do what it takes to, like, help a team. And it's no longer thinking about himself as much anymore. I don't know. It's been 2 games only, but
He's got to start playing defense.
I think he is somewhat a good addition to the team because they don't really have a solid scoring wing in terms of like that team. Like, I mean, they probably do, but I can't really, off the top of my head, I won't be able to name them straight away. But it's always been the Dame and CJ McCollum show. The reason why I think that he's a good addition is, I'm not going to say that they're making it to the playoffs, but if they were at the playoffs, Damian Lillard has always fallen short of one thing, and it's always he needs something like he needs a wing shooter or a wing player that's effective enough to elevate the team. And in terms of this kind of move, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. You just gotta wait and see what's happening. But I can't think of anyone better who's available that they could have added in terms of small forwards. I mean, he could have been probably would have been good to be in the Knicks. They don't have any small forwards, but yeah, as I said,
they do. They got 4 power forwards.
As I said, like if we could find someone that's a free agent right now who's a forward, I think someone who has he's got 6 Oh, he's been an NBA All-Star like 10 times and a 6-time All NBA team. You know, you got someone there.
Yeah. And I wanted to bring that up as well because, you know, you have CJ and Damian who are like the main forefronts for, I guess, offense-wise for the Blazers. But as you said as well, like it doesn't seem to be enough to like kind of make them more solidified in the playoffs, like make a much more deeper run. I mean, sorry, they have made deep runs into the conference finals, but I think if they want to take it to the next level, they kind of need that extra offensive power. I know they kind of at the moment with this, they might have sacrificed defense, but I don't know. Could maybe having a bit more offense may help because you know nowadays scoring is kind of like the way to go. Try to outscore the team.
It's just hard because he's playing a power forward position, which he's not really used to. He's always been like a small forward. Even with the Thunder, like they asked him to play power forward, and the power forwards he's going to be going up against are very post-athletic people. And if you're a power forward versus... If you're a small forward guarding a power forward who's like sort of post... His game is post. It's not easy to defend. If he was versing like a small forward, like I'm not saying like LeBron James or something, but who's another small forward, like I don't know.
Or they can match playing power.
Like if it was Brandon Ingram, I reckon he would have a chance to like defend him because he's got more girth. I can't think of any other power forwards at the moment, but you get what I mean. Like he's too small to be guarding a power forward. Plus, he doesn't have, like you said, he doesn't have the defensive capability of being an effective defensive player. So, yeah.
But then you think that could be something that can be... Okay, obviously this comes down to, like, individual, you know, what he wants out of himself and what he wants to bring to the table. But then again, like, you have a lot of players who are actually pretty small and they're guarding like bigs too. I was gonna bring this up a bit later, but I feel like this is a good timing. Like right now, what we've actually found is that Celtics actually sometimes play Marcus Smart to play sometimes defense against the bigger guys, and it works sometimes too. Like it's shown to be effective. Not obviously for like the whole duration of a game, but for some plays, like they do it 100%. And it works.
Because he was even able to guard Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid during the playoffs in like 2018.
But that's what I'm saying. Like my point is like, obviously we're talking about Melo here, but you know, there could be a possibility if he wants to make that next step to help the team.
Like you said, it's up to individual growth. But it's Melo. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's been taught since like high school to be a volume shooter, a scorer, and he's maybe it's because of like all the highlights and stuff. He's always been like that. But to bring defense in now, it's a matter of, is he willing to be a good defensive player? And just looking at him and his age right now, I don't think you can expect someone like him to be.
I don't think he has the time. I don't think he has the energy to learn new things. I don't
think he's getting paid enough to be learning.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, he just wants to do what he knows best.
Yeah.
And what he knows best is shooting and scoring. And that's why, for the Blazers, it's a bad move for me. Like, that's my opinion. I think I agree with you, but there is not many options for defensive, free agents.
Yeah.
But, losing Aminu and Mo Harkless is, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, they could have done, other movements rather than losing them too.
Yeah. And, I guess you can say the offense, more offense can win championships. We saw that with Golden State, but then again they had guys like Draymond Green and Iguodala who were defensive juggernauts for that team. Who's your defense juggernaut for the Blazers, like Hassan Whiteside, but that's for only for
That's
the
like
bigs.
yeah.
And that's and at this point, at this time of like in this era, big, like defensive big juggernauts are, I guess, situational when when you're matched up with another big that's a similar body type, similar, that has similar athleticism.
And it's also like if the team only depends their scoring on their center.
Right. And so in this era, you need defensive wings. No matter how limited they are offensively, you can still, having defensive versatility is much needed in this game.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when you compared Marcus Smart to Melo, well, Marcus Smart is a way better defensive player than Melo. And that's why it works.
Hmm.
And that's why Melo, we're talking about Melo here, not known for his defense. And how old is he now? In his mid-30s? He's not going to be thinking about playing defense. He's not going to be thinking, he's not going to be like solely thinking on defense.
Yeah, because at his age now, he's probably just trying to make sure that he's fit to start off with. And then second of all, it's just going to be, can he still maintain his skill, which is to be a scorer, to be a three-point shooter, and on top of that, to see if he still has the same athleticism that he can maintain.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't have to... I'm not trying to say that he needs to be defensive juggernaut. He can just play good defense. That's fine. But there are certain times where you need a defensive stopper, and the Blazers don't have that.
Okay. So
as a wing player.
Yep. That's fair. So, okay. Well, since the trade's already been happened, what do you think needs to happen then? Say they have all their pieces together, like Dame comes back. What do you think Blazers need to do? Because they already have Melo, and I know it says they're a non-guaranteed contract. But what do you think Blazers should do with Melo then?
I think they should keep him.
Oh no, obviously, but what adjustment do they need to do?
Sit him on a bench.
No,
he's still good. He's still good. I reckon he's way too good to be sitting on the bench. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I don't know what the free agent market is right now. It's probably very, very thin. And if there is some players out there, they're probably offensive based, like J.R. Smith, Jamal Crawford. I'll put Swaggy P. They're all offensive guards. They're all offensive players.
They probably need to find a two-way player to just maintain the balance, or an effective defensive player.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? Sorry, you want to go?
No, go.
I was gonna say, do you reckon maybe he, and this has already been like advocated for so long now, that he should eventually Blazers should make him come off the bench, and he can be the spark plug the bench needs. Like he could be the Lou Will of the Blazers.
I think he should be like at least a sixth man, not a starter. But they definitely need to, like, he's set in his ways. He's set in his he knows his potential and stuff. So there's no point in trying to improve a flaw of his. But they should rather find a wing player that can play defense, who knows how to, who's fast enough to guard a guard, and who's strong enough to guard a big. And in terms of that, then your defensive play is good. Then you put Melo, you take Melo off the bench, and then he just adds more points to the team.
I agree. I love Melo. Like, we talk a lot of crap about Melo, right? But in all fairness,
so shit on my 2K18 team.
He's a god. He's one of the most respected people in the league. He's done a lot of great things. Of course, he hasn't won a championship. That's probably gonna be on his name for a long time if he doesn't win a championship before his career ends. But regardless of that, I think we're all happy that, or everyone is happy that he's back in the league because he deserves it, and he's too respected to not be in the league. Yeah. But at the same time, from the Blazers standpoint, it's a huge panic move in my opinion.
Yeah.
That
It wasn't thought out pretty well.
because it was very abrupt too.
Mm.
Like no one saw this coming. Like no one saw like, oh, Melo worked out with the Blazers, you know, possibility of signing with him. It just came out of nowhere, you know.
But I think the injury of like Damian Lillard like sitting out, I think that kind of helped make that decision kind of thing.
Possibly.
That's why they're like, oh, we need someone who can play offense, help CJ.
But this should have been done 2 years ago before he left the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because because Carmelo was still,
He was an effective player back then.
yeah,
Still.
it was sort of like midway to the end of his prime, and he was still pretty good. Like he's still pretty good now, but he was a bit better back in.
Yeah, he was more athletic, more what's that word called? He enjoyed the game more at that time. Like you could see his presence of mind at the time was just like, yep, focusing on that.
All right. So you think about not the greatest move.
Nah, it's not the greatest move.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest move, but it's probably the only move that
They can do right
they
now.
could like to think that quickly. Probably.
Yeah. I don't think it's the greatest move either, but I think with what they've got, I think they could find a way. I think coming off the bench is probably the best thing. Just being that spark plug. And again, like I don't think we all agree that he's not gonna probably want to kind of expand his game in other areas. But that's why I think him coming off the bench and being that kind of extra force, because the Blazers, they don't seem to have a deep team. Like their bench is, does Kent Bazemore come off the bench?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So imagine having like another scorer that can help them that can come off as well.
And like I was looking closely into their off season, they signed a lot of offensive players, and I was like, ooh, like this can be good. Like they're loading up on a lot of shooters, a lot of scoring. But then I realized like, oh, they've lost Mo Harkless, they've lost Al-Farouq Aminu. That's a lot of that was their defense there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, at the first I was like, oh, they could be at least top 5, even top 3. And then I saw that, I was like, oh no, that's tough. So yeah, because I really like watching. I really like when defenses win games, and so when you lose your half your defense pretty much, and you don't have Nurkic back, yeah, it's gonna be tough to win games just solely relying on your offense.
Yeah, you can't just as well as like as you said, like half their defense was gone. And what you said earlier, Hassan Whiteside, you can't just rely on him to be your sole defensive player because it's now a 3-ball game. It's no longer
It's a versatile game.
Yeah, no one's going in the paint, and even bigs now are going in the paint. Aren't going in the paint.
Yeah,
you have stretch fives. You have thing like the only let's say the only 3 people who still properly play the paint game very well is Giannis and someone who's injured now, but like that's his sole game is Zion.
you know who they should get? Should get Iguodala. Iguodala would have been a great piece for.
Isn't he in Memphis right now though?
Yeah, but trade would have been great for that team.
We could have at least given like 5 players for Iguodala because their bench right now isn't the most effective.
And he could have been possibly bought out. If he was bought out, Blazers should have taken him straight up because he's a defensive player, but he can still score.
Yeah.
He can still got some offensive
Or
capabilities.
even now, like they could still get Iguodala, and he'd be like, you have 2 veterans. Like there's a possibility there.
It might happen during like the All-Star break.
Possibly.
But there's always that. I think it's what's funny as well, or that I've noticed, is Blazers always have like a very, very slow start. It's always like around the All-Star break and afterwards.
But this is
That's
a
when they start
very
picking
slow
up.
start.
Yeah, because there's top players injured, and their top player, one of their best players is still injured from last season because of that injury.
Yeah, it's usually, like, I get what you mean. They're slow starts, but like their slow starts usually like they're around 500, where they're like 4-4 or like 6-7 or like 8-6.
Yeah,
They're 5-10,
and they're practically going with a new team. It's not like, Hassan Whiteside played with them for a whole season beforehand. It's not like Carmelo played the starting 5 games with them.
Yeah.
It's a completely new team, and so it's just a whole lot of, like, you could be right. There could be it's a slow start. All-Star weekend happens, they start kicking in, but it's either the management has to make movements now, or stick with the team, and they got to continue with that religiously.
It was funny because I think I was reading an article about Aminu and then like how he left the Blazers, and someone asked him, "Oh, was it hard to leave the Blazers?" And he was like, "No, not really, because like half the team left already. Like it's literally just Dame, CJ, and maybe Nurkic."
And he's injured.
And he was like, "Yeah, the transition was pretty easy. Like, yeah, those guys are cool and that, but like pretty much half the team like is gone. It's been replaced." And so, yeah.
He's with
The Magic.
Magic, yeah. So he's got like a whole lot of new developing players.
Yeah.
He's got, what's his name, Markel. He's got Mo Bamba.
Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, he's good. They haven't played Mo Bamba yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be slow.
Well, because the song was it was kept repeating for like ages, so yeah, they stopped playing it for a bit.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Celtics. The team's doing well. Your new team, Celtics.
Yeah, I'm being a Celtics fan, bro.
What do you think? Do you reckon it's the Kyrie Irving effect?
I don't know, but I do gotta say this. Since he left, Jason Tatum has the ball more. He's been their top scorer. And their point guard is still scoring high. He's got like, equal points. He's like second top scorer, but he's still got more assists than Kyrie last season.
Wait, who, Kemba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be. But I do gotta say this. My prediction about what's it called? Most improved player, Jason Tatum. Hey, come on, bro. He ankle broke twice, bro.
You know what? I'm not sleepy
game.
on Claude anymore because he's made some pretty bold statements,
You know
and they were going pretty well.
I was looking at the last episode, and I was like, when I was listening to Claude's predictions, I was like, man, I'm gonna be laughing at this now, but you never know in like 6 or 7 months, and being like, I don't know how you do it, Claude.
Hey, what I say about Lakers last year, everyone was like, oh, even people at work read it was like, really? They got LeBron James. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a new team. It doesn't transition that very well.
I spoke it into existence.
I'm just hoping that that the Kemba thing isn't that bad, because as it just happened like today that he got an injury. He was even in the brace and the stretcher.
Yeah, it looked pretty serious, and that's why I was actually kind of worried, like that. This is one of their biggest moves, and it's one of their most successful moves so far, and that injury could potentially impact. Well, probably not playoff, like making it to the playoffs, but still,
yeah, because
affecting it.
What I'm thinking right now is, who's going to be their point? Their second point guard wasn't it Walters? Oh no,
Walters is pretty good. He's a scoring machine, that guy.
But right now, their other point guard is either Marcus Smart, Carson Edwards, or Tremont Walters, and I'm not liking it too much.
I'm looking at it right now. It's not serious.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, they
thank
say.
God.
He's been diagnosed with concussion-like symptoms. He's been transported to hospital for further evaluation, but it's not serious.
All right. Hopefully it's not. Yeah, not a long kind of lasting injury.
But I wouldn't be too shaken up if they still had Terry Rozier. If they had Terry Rozier, oh my gosh! Even if they had Avery Bradley, still, come on, man. Oh.
But that's sorry. Going back to what you were saying, how like now that Kyrie's not there, Jason Tatum has more opportunities to play with the ball.
Yeah.
Do his
Even
own thing.
Jaylen Brown.
And that's what I was about to bring. Someone actually asked him in an interview question. They asked him, "Do you feel more freer without Kyrie Irving?" And what he responded was, "No comment. Next question."
That means hell yeah. You talking about? You can see it. Boy hugged the ball for 22 seconds and shot it with 2 seconds left.
Well, oh man, I'm happy that they're on top. They're a young team. I feel like it's gonna be like Nets.
But like better.
Maybe. Oh,
They're better.
They look more deeper.
They look more deeper.
I
Yeah.
think with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown playing the ball more, and Gordon Hayward coming back, you've got
Wait, didn't you get injured?
Gordon Hayward is injured.
like I didn't know that.
After I said he was a comeback player of the year. Oh my goodness.
That was literally like a couple of days after as well.
We're like jinxing people, bro.
All right,
Marco,
don't say anything about Jason Tatum. I'll smash the shit out of you.
so good, man. Jason Tatum.
He's got this. He's definitely gonna.
Well, but
win this and
you
prove.
heard it here, guys. Jinx.
You see the news.
No, but Brad Stevens has got so much more people to work with. It's not just it's Kyrie's ball. It's not Kyrie's show. It's the Celtics, and that's what it should be. It shouldn't be just a star player or anything. Because even during the last minutes of the fourth quarter, it wasn't just Jason Tatum. It was everyone else was trying to play decent game. Like Kemba Walker was hitting all those mid ranges, and then it just so happened that my boy Jason Tatum ankle broke Paul George.
Nah, that was an offensive foul, bro.
Offensive foul my ass, bro. Good night, bro. He even had to nay.
Nah, did you see the replay? He tripped him. When he went to pull it back,
Tripped him.
kicked his leg.
Hey, so did Lion Stevenson. He stepped on it. What's his name? Green's foot, and everyone thought it was an ankle break. But you look at the replay, it's all right. Hey, Michael Jordan even pushed someone in that final shot, but they still call him
that's
the
all
guy.
good, bro. That's not offensive foul. What are you talking about?
That's
Still-
clean.
Yeah.
Still call him good. So
That was photoshopped.
That was 20 years ago. Let it go.
why you gotta bring up old shit, Clyde? No, but Jason Tatum, bro, come on, baby.
But
I
I
got
think
your
it's,
jersey for the reason.
but it's good that like the team is kind of like are stepping up. So going back to like the last episode, how we're talking about like who's gonna be that player though, and I think doing this early, like being in these situations, even though they lost, it's good that they're having like Jason has these opportunities for himself to experience it, and also I don't know other players that might want to step up too.
Yeah, going back to your question, is it because of Kyrie? I think it goes both ways. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more chance to get the ball, but in terms of, look, Jason Tatum's what, 3rd year now?
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown's 4th year?
You know who they need
They're just growing.
if
Just expanding their game.
If Kemba doesn't come back, you know who they should sign? Lonzo Ball, baby. Dynamic duo. I'm telling you right now.
Who's who? Oh, Jason
Lonzo.
Tatum.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Come on.
Nah, I like the Lonzo and Zion Williamson.
Yeah, that's way better.
Nah.
Come on, it fits way better.
Bro, fucking, you
You'll
have
be
the
like
playmaker with a slasher.
He's already given up on the
It's
connection.
like Splash City, bro. It's Splash City right there, bro. If
Lonzo's not a splash city.
He
I love
will.
Lonzo, but he's not a
He'll
splash
be
city.
He'll be a two-way 3-point ball player. You know, point guard.
Yeah, for the G League team.
Well, yeah.
I'm starting to hate on Lonzo now, man. I love Lonzo, don't worry, man. But him and the Celtics, come on, bro.
Nah, I'm not a big Zion fan. That's why. Not as what I used to be. When he was in high school, fuck yeah, destroying little white kids.
But they're doing well, right? They're doing really well now, anyways. Like Celtics, currently second in the Eastern Conference, 11 wins with 3 losses.
They had a 10-win game streak as well.
Is that 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So, my boy Jason Tatum.
I think commend Brad Stevens for being able to again play with new pieces and like figure out a way to make it effective.
That's my boy. That's why I voted him as Coach of the Year.
Bringing it back to that point again with Marcus Smart. So we have, Draymond Green who would defend the bigs. I guess it's a bit more, it seemed a bit like, I guess it's kind of like, okay, that's not too bad because he's a kind of plays as a forward anyways. But now having like a guard match up with kind of defend bigs. What do you guys reckon?
I mean, it's good to have him there because he's got girth, he's got strength to to guard bigs, which sort of puts less stress on the forwards to guard.
Marcus Smart?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It puts less stress on the forwards to like guard hard players because even Marcus Smart, he defended LeBron James pretty well in 2018. But regardless of Marcus Smart being a really good player, it's also how the team helps him play defense. Can they rotate? Can they double team? Can they find the weak side? Can they make sure that everyone's in their spot? But it does put a lot of stress off, like, who's other players that they have? Jaylen Brown, for example, who's playing small forward. And Jason Tatum's playing small forward. Whoever the small forward is that they have to defend, it helps them a lot.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
I think I'm making EJ hate the Celtics, bro.
No. I was like, it's whatever. Because
Laker Nation.
you
Because that's his long-time rival.
That's why I was sort of face to face. We're like, man, hell no. East Coast, West Coast. No, Marcus Smart is good. I mean, like, he's got great defensive IQ, that's for sure. But remember when he was like known for like flopping and all that type of crap? I think he's sort of
He's changed that.
Yeah, he's changed that. I think he's good because he's quicker than most of the bigs. So, in terms of getting in front, taking charges,
setting your feet up.
Yeah, setting your feet up. Make sure like you're ready for the post move and all that. Ready for that first step. I think it's good, and then it's like it creates a lot of opportunities for small ball.
Yeah.
On offense. So not just defensively, it's an offensively good thing.
It reminds me of like Lance Stevenson when he was guarding LeBron. You know what I mean? Like he knows where to step for when he's guarding LeBron, but he's also a very good point forward.
But that's not. But it was just more interesting because Marcus Smart is like a lot more smaller too.
He's like 6'5", isn't he?
I thought he was 6'4" or something.
It's around that.
Around that.
But like, yeah, in terms of like guarding the bigs, like they don't have as good of a ball handle as
Yeah.
most guards. So it's for a big going up against Marcus Smart. It's like it's a scary thought to dribble the ball around him because he's a feisty player.
He's quick and he attacks.
Quick. Yeah, so it's a good little strategy for Brad Stevens. A good little weapon for the Celtics. He's kind of like I wouldn't say Pat Beverly because Pat Beverly doesn't really guard bigs, but he's a good. I think this is one of the good versatile guards that can sort of play against the big
defensively.
Yeah, defensively.
Yeah.
It's kind of like like your poor man Dwayne Wade type player in terms of defense.
So someone was asking Marcus Smart about like comparison of him and Pat Bev. Did you see that?
A load of crap. A load of crap.
Well, what's it called? I think Marcus Smart was like,
When you charge.
all good. When asking Marcus Smart about him and Pat Bev, he's like, oh, there's no real comparison. But if he steps up his game, yeah, let's talk about it.
I didn't see this. What the heck?
But honestly, yeah,
Well, I'm waiting for that next clip.
the next matchup.
Yeah, next matchup.
All this Pat Beverly talk, man. I can't believe Pat Beverly's in headlines sometimes.
Well, actually, I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think he actually has that defensive capability, or is it that mental game that he actually has against his opponents that actually kind of translate and gives that kind of energy to his team?
I think it's
Or go.
mentally.
Yep.
Because it's like, the opponent's like, how the hell are you in the league sometimes? Like, how are you standing right here in front of me? I'm dribbling up the ball, you're right here. Like, sure, he's okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he's got some skill.
Yeah, there's some skill, but
With all due respect.
mostly like,
We're like,
Majority.
yeah, how are you? How? That could be so frustrating to offense to an opposing team. It's like, why are you here and how are you in my head? Like,
Yeah, I think it's just that it's a fear that's brought by like media attention. You know, like when people keep saying, "Oh, Pat Beverly this, Pat Beverly that," and then all the trash talk he talks.
right?
It's just like it gets straight into you, and you're just like, "Fuck."
It's like he trash talks, and it's like, why are you trash talking? You're not the best player in the team.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, if Kawhi or Paul George is trash talking, like, I get it. Your game's backing it up, and for sure, maybe Pat Beverly's game is backing it up. But again, he's not the best player in the team.
yeah,
He's just a little rat, just like behind, Kawhi and PG. Just
he's like that one kid who has a friend who's like this in
Who's
high
big.
school. Who's big, and he's like, "Yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch. You know what? You walk away." And it's like, yeah, you can talk, but the only reason why I'm walking away is because you're hiding behind that big fat cunt. You know what I mean?
But it's good that the Clippers are sort of riding that wave too. It's like
Yeah,
you should though.
you should,
Yeah.
might as well take that to your advantage. Like, it's good to have.
because it's
trash
getting them games. You know, it's getting them wins.
talk. It's like Draymond Green as well. It's like, yeah, he's got defense. He trash talks a lot, but
Not the best player.
not the best player.
Hmm.
And Pat Beverly, compared to Draymond Green, I think I'd still pick Draymond.
Draymond, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even then, like Pat Beverly, maybe he has good defense, but it's only like when he can show up, kind of thing. Because he's probably got more fouls than he has more steals. But what I'm saying is, in terms of like choosing between Draymond Green or another two-way player over Pat Beverly, I'd probably choose another two-way player because they're a two-way player. Pat Beverly's not a two-way player.
I'll tell you what. If I look up on YouTube Pat Beverly, the highlights I would see first were probably trash talking highlights rather than
Yeah, it's just
gameplay highlights.
him against Kevin Durant.
Yeah, him against Kevin Durant or him against Russell Westbrook, talking crap. That's the first thing I would see rather than saying, oh, defensive highlights or, gameplay highlights, stat highlights. I'm like, okay. Yeah, there you go. That's what he's known for, trash talking.
It's interesting though, right? It's like he's not really the best, like a really good player, but he's really using that kind of mental warfare game.
Yeah. But it's not like he's not backing it up. He's had some times where he's done really well on defense.
Yeah.
He's had his moments.
Legitimate skill, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, respect to Bev, but he's not the best player on the team.
He's like, even if he wins, he's gonna be like Troy Dan when he had that 99 overall, and he's like, my career. He's like, I am 99 overall.
Bow down to me.
You cannot even talk to me. My career.
Say, what was it? It was like he only has like 100 wins or something on that.
Yeah.
With that player, because you see like the records and everything.
Less than 100
I was
wins. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't even 100. It was like less than 100 games.
They're like, bro, you are definitely a my career player.
My career is I am 99. That's gonna be Pat Bev if he wins. He's like, I'm a champion. What are you? He's like a better player. I'm a champion, but
Kawhi Leonard. I am a champ. Paul George.
I can name probably every other player on that team before Pat Beverly.
Yeah, man, it's tough. But yeah, he backs it up sometimes. I'm not gonna not give him credit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the Lakers?
Yeah, we have to, bro.
They're doing good. Let's move on.
Apparently, this is what I just heard anyways. Apparently, LeBron wanted Melo. But, fortunately for EJ, office thought otherwise. And,
Finally, the office thought something good. I think you were there.
Got a brain.
nah, it's because they don't have AIDS in their system. That's why.
Someone had to bring it up.
Could be. Could be.
Let's turn up the podcast right now.
Could be. Anyway, they're doing well. Good job with the Lakers. Moving on. Luka Dončić. He's having a really great start. One of the youngest to get triple doubles.
He's got like 7 now, hasn't he? In the first season?
But yeah, he's definitely had like a good handful already. And it's only the start of the season. I guess it just shows how much he's expanded his game already.
You know what? You can't. I'm a bit thing here because he's been playing professional league since he was like 16.
Yeah.
So he's already got experience. So in terms of adapting, it's normal to him. He only needed 1 year in the NBA to like learn how to play the NBA standards.
Yeah.
Like Jason Tatum took 2 years to properly, and that's because they had Kyrie and stuff. But I'm like Luka had 4. Well, how old is he? He's 21, 22.
21, 22, yeah.
And he already had like 4 years experience prior to that. You know, he's already a paid player. So I mean,
how lucky is that? But for the Mavericks,
it's a great pickup
to have probably the greatest international player or European player in history.
I think best international player. I would say that.
Possibly. I'd give him. I'd put him up there, and for him to retire and then this transition to possibly. He could.
He's growing. He could be.
He could be the greatest international player.
And it's not even like he doesn't even need to be. He's a versatile player because he's more than just a scorer. He could be a facilitator, whereas Dirk was just he was just the per-centric scorer.
That's why MVP.
Did you have him as a thing?
Yeah.
I had him as one of my candidates.
Who was your pick again? I forgot.
All right, Patrick had him as.
He had him as a candidate. I remember that.
Well, he didn't have him as a winner.
Yeah.
He had him as one of the most valuable players. Yeah, most valuable player.
Go.
Who's your pick?
His pick for the most valuable player was Kawhi, someone else, and Luka.
Okay.
MVP, but he chose.
He's got a case. If he keeps it up, he could have a historic season, like
in his second year as well. Yeah, just.
No, but then again, it's. I think it's the experience of being in a grown man's league ever since he was 16.
Yeah.
That's really. It's really eased the transition from him coming into the NBA.
Do you think this also kind of helps support the, I guess, the notion? For example, like, we already have a couple players who are trying to pretty much going through the stages, like LaMelo and RJ Hampton. They're already going through. Actually, LaMelo would have been a bit longer, but these boys are already experiencing a grown man's league.
Yeah, like, you know what? I've got to say this right here, right now. I've been a big LaMelo fan, but RJ Hampton ripped him up, bro.
On their matchup?
Matchup, bro. Did you see that fucking block?
Yep.
He jumped as high as the ring, bro.
RJ Hampton's very athletic. He's very fast.
And even when I think as well as because RJ Hampton, when he was in high school, he was so talkative. He was not afraid to think. So right now he's a rookie in a grown man's league right now, but fucking ripped him, bro. Straight up.
Did you hear how many NBA scouts were in that game?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I was like, bro, LaMelo, man, I don't know, you're not a first pick anymore. Who knows?
it's hard. Especially when all the other players as well, I bet they were 100% sure. If they heard NBA scouts were there, they would have played their hardest too. And there was a couple of other guys, like no-namers, and they stepped up a lot.
Even Aaron Brooks was like, bro, I can't believe he's that old, but he's still playing pretty well for his age.
Oh yeah, he's crafty, but
Yeah. But straight up, I was just like, oh, you're definitely not going to be number one.
Hey, you never know.
Could be.
You never
still
know.
got time
it was just one
anyway.
game.
I think you know what? He's probably scouts would look at him as, okay, maybe he didn't win, but they're gonna look at him as you're still a versatile player, and you can play a point guard as a 6-7 position.
Yeah, in a grown man's league.
yeah. What do you guys reckon of, I guess, LaMelo's kind of placing? Like, I guess, how would you say him being able to fit in the NBA league?
NBA league or NBL?
NBA.
Oh, NBA.
Like,
right now, I can't think of anyone else. There's that Ranger who's in college right now.
Nico
Yeah.
Mannion.
Yeah, like that's the only other guy I can think of besides RJ Hampton and LaMelo who's going into the 2020 draft. But in terms of like where his stance is and where his position is, LaMelo,
I think he's
No,
top
no.
10 at least. He's
gonna be-
for certain top 10.
depends on what team he's in.
but that's the question as well. Like, I reckon LaMelo's skill to be a facilitator and to even just control the tempo of the game, I reckon he could, obviously with the right pieces, obviously, but he could essentially play for any team, right?
He can essentially play for any team, but it doesn't mean that he's gonna again, you can have, if he plays for the Warriors right now,
Nah.
he's got to be the top scorer.
Yeah.
So his facilitating game's not going to be good, meaning he's not going to be that guy who's, all right, I'm an effective player who makes everyone else better. He's going to be the best player. But his volume could increase everyone out. You never know. But in terms of as I said, it has to be a certain team.
He definitely belongs in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on Alonzo, but I reckon he's got a way higher ceiling than Alonzo.
I think everyone knows that, though.
Yeah.
I think everyone
But
sees
I don't
that.
think Cloyd wants to accept that.
Nah.
You can see it from a
Oh,
very young
yeah.
age, though. LaMelo's
Yeah, you can
got
tell.
a more complete package.
As he grew older, you were just like,
He got better.
fuck, this guy's just huge now.
I think as an all-around player, LaMelo's way better. But I think in terms of Lonzo, he's a better defensive and also just a passing instinct type player. He's way better at passing.
What's called? My boy Zoe, he's a true point guard. He's a true two-way point guard.
Yeah.
But LaMelo, I think he's a better scorer.
Yeah.
It's like, the most irrelevant brother, Leangelo. He doesn't have any other game.
Where are you at?
he honestly has no other game. He was only good because of his brothers. Because his brothers are the only people passing to him. But, wow. Hey, he didn't. Okay, look, when Zoe left to college, did they win a championship? Did Chino Hills? No.
Now they left? Oh, wait.
No, they still played a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
They
Yeah,
left. They left school together.
That was when wasn't it when LaMelo scored 94?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jello and Melo was still there.
Jello, they don't have a volume player, and Melo was too young to be a volume player, even though he scored that 90 something points.
Yeah.
But no, when he scored that, no one knew who Jello was anymore. And then it just shows when he was in UCLA, Like, he missed his first 5 threes, and that's all he thought he could do. But he needs to be at least a good defensive player, because he's not going to be athletic. He's not very quick. He's got to be a good defensive player, but if he wants to be in the NBA.
How much would it suck though? Like
Exactly. That's
being
what
LiAngelo Ball, like Lonzo Macon and LaMelo already has like a pretty good chance of getting in.
You know what?
Yeah.
LiAngelo should play in the NBL. Just so that he has a name for himself. Or even in China. Oh, no,
Nah,
actually
can't
not. Ban. Oh, did you guys see that episode on Keeping Up with the...
Ball in the family.
Hey, Ball in the Family, sorry. Keeping Up with Kardashian. He
Wait,
was...
what are you watching?
So, they went camping, Lonzo, Demo, and LiAngelo.
No, that's not good.
And he was eating a s'more.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, this tastes like a moon cake." And they were like, "Moon cake?" He's like, "Yeah, you guys never had Oh, wait. That was when I was in jail." And I was trying to just like, oh, well, what a turn of events that was. But yeah, he was even saying like, yeah, it was funny as that whole story, because he was like, yeah, I had it in jail. And they were like, oh, really? They gave you some food? He's like, yeah, the guards are cool with me. They even said, yeah, you're welcome to come back. And I lost it, bro. I was like, no way.
Jello, I don't know. He's like the middle child that
No one knows.
no one knows. Like, he's just like, he's not the favorite of anyone's. Maybe just the mum. And that's it. Anyone else is like, who? Who's Jello? I know Melo and Zoe. Who's Jello?
But you guys gotta agree with me, right? He's not quick.
Nah, he's not.
He doesn't have good. He doesn't have as better. Like his hop game isn't as good as Zoe,
Yeah.
for example. Shooting wise, he's only a spot up shooter.
He's streaky.
Yeah, and the only other good game he had that he used, he was known for, was his post up game. But he's too small and too heavy to be a post up player. Like in terms of who he's gonna go.
I think LeVar taught him the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, I think like it was okay for high school, but
Yeah, but exactly. But that's why he kept it. Like when I was watching Ball in the Family when they were in Lithuania, he was still posting up on these guys, and like that was not the way to do it when he was in those pro leagues. It's like that's wrong. He's shorter. He's not as quick.
And he doesn't have a proper post game, because the people who are defending him in the post know how to defend post.
Yeah.
Whereas when he was playing in high school, he was probably going up against a skinny dude, or someone who was shorter than him but stronger, and it was no one knows how to defend a post game in high school. And like you don't, no one even knows who the best defensive players are in high school, you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's on Ball is Life or what's the other mixtapes you can find, you know what I mean? Like you won't be able to find on Hoop mixtape, damn, this guy got 7 steals. It's like no one cares, because at the end of the day, it's all about the highlight reel, the who can dunk, who can poster, who can shoot.
That's all what they all want to see. Yeah.
But as I said, no one in high school knows how to play defense. So his post up game was good, because that guy was strong as against going up. If you're going up against a 14-year-old, bang, you know what I mean? We went off track here. We're supposed to talk about Lakers.
Yeah. How did Luka end up going into Jello?
No, because I was saying because the way Luka's journey to the NBA.
But think about it. Going back to Luka, this and like maybe even Jello and RJ Hampton, could be the new wave in terms of getting into the NBA.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying. Like his journey, even though like it wasn't as announced as like LaMelo, it's kind of a similar pathway to LaMelo and RJ Hampton.
Yeah.
And so might be the new pathway.
Because there's been a lot of like problems with the NCAA in terms of like paying where the athletes can get paid.
Yeah.
A lot of like under the table briberies been happening, and then like lots of people getting suspended. There's a lot of issues with the NCAA.
They're even saying like, that when Titans. Was it Titans? They were versing. Fuck, I forgot what. Duke. And there were so many offensive fouls that game.
Yeah.
And the refs were not calling shit. And so people were saying that there was a conspiracy because they wanted to have a Duke versus what's it called North Carolina game.
Yeah.
Never know, but
yeah, exactly.
so you can't control anything. Like in the NCAA, it's the rich people can control it, but you can't control it if you're doing if you're in a professional league.
Yeah, exactly. And this could be the new wave, especially when you want to really transition. Because like a lot of people, like you can be the best player in the NCAA. As soon as you get in, like without even having to play a game. Like Zion Williamson,
he was known
comes
as
in. He's already the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Without having to play one game. But when you're LaMelo, when you're RJ Hampton, when you go into the NBL, you're not the best player in the league.
Yeah.
When
And
you're
sometimes
Luka, you're not the best player in the league.
and sometimes on top of that, the thing like you said, if you're in NCAA, a lot of people, the best players in the NCAA are one and done.
Right.
But when you're playing in another league, a professional league, NBL, Lithuania, there's people who've been there for like a solid 3 years. There's some people who have been recruited from the NBA. Like, what's his name? Starbury. Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
He was in China, but, he was the best player in China. So if you were to move to China, you're not the best player because Stephon Marbury came from the NBA.
Exactly.
Lance Stevenson, Jeremy Lin. They're like killing it in China right now. But if I were to go to China right now, I wouldn't be the best player, even though I was the best player in high school. So when you go to NCAA, it's new. You're the best player because you're new.
Yeah.
You're the best player because everyone else is new. But that's because everyone becomes one and done. So
also all the good players, either they moved like NBA or they went to like another professional league or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine if Lonzo, Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum still stayed in there, and Zion came in. He'd probably like be able to think, but at the end of the day, he was already struggling to get that team up top.
Especially,
they were only known because they were killing it in high school. But if you have years of experience behind you in the NCAA, then definitely Zion's not going to be the number one pick. So.
Especially when you're in the NCAA and you're like, you're one of the best. Like, I'm not wasting my time spending the next 2-3 years in college when I can
just get paid.
Yeah, get paid in the NBA, being one of the decent players in the league. The difference is between the leagues, it's like, okay, I can grind my way to becoming one of the better players in this league, and then getting like easier transition into the NBA. Yeah, it's. I think a lot more people are gonna be going to these professional leagues. It's gonna
start, yeah. Even Gilbert Arenas called it. He was like, "Why would I bring? If I knew my son was a 5-star recruit, why would I bring him to the NCAA when I know that he can kill it in another league and get paid more? The only difference is you can't be one and done unless you're so good. You know what I mean? You can't be one and done in the NBL or in Lithuania.
Possibly.
Yeah. So like.
Well, not Lithuania, not like that.
Yeah. But like, for example, LaMelo and stuff. The reason why they can be one and done is because there's so much hype around it.
Yeah.
But a 4-star recruit going to the NBL, he can't be one and done. So that's my point there. And you're getting paid. You can go into another shoe contract as soon as you get to the NBA.
It just shows like the transition's just so much more easier as well, because you pretty much kind of know what to expect, whereas I think a lot of players say like even straight from college to NBA, that's already smack in the face as it is.
Yeah, and plus like carrying on from what Claude was saying, some things are bigger than basketball. Like I don't know. I mean, LaMelo could be an exception because they got hella money. But some of these players, they don't, they trying to make a living or trying to earn a living.
That's their job, yeah.
Yeah, that's their job. And, they got to support their families back home. some of these players, they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these high school players, they don't have a lot of money. Like their families, they spend like the majority of money trying to help their kids trying to make it, and so they just want to, pay their families back by earning a living, and you can't do that with the NCAA at the moment.
Yeah. You get hype. That's it.
You get hype, but the chances of you getting in the NBA is still pretty uncertain unless you're very, very good.
Yeah.
And there's only 60 players that can make it in that draft, and even then, after that, of course,
only 30 players can say.
Yeah, and even then, the chance of being an undrafted free agent and being signed by a team is still pretty slim.
There was a guy, he played in. I remember I used to play against him in high school, during the St. Agnes and Loyola comps. He was playing in Illawarra. He got drafted into the NBA, but I think he was number 50 something. Now he's not even in the NBA anymore. But I was like, bro, imagine that. He trained his whole life for that, and now he's playing somewhere else.
Well, that just shows how hard it is as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes even if you are good, it shows. If the example that only came out to mind is Carmelo. You could be that good, and you still NBA would probably still cut you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely this new pathway. It's definitely, I think it's more beneficial now than the NCAA in terms of growth, in terms of earning a living, and in just terms of transition into the NBA if you're really that good.
Yeah.
It's definitely situational. It's definitely not for every player.
And you know what? It's in being in a different country, in America. So you gotta. It's definitely a good test personality-wise in terms of being
maturity.
Resilient. Yeah, maturity, resilience.
That's right.
Adjustment, because you're gonna be traveling on the road, so many times in the year in the NBA. So you're gonna be always adjusting, and so just to get used to the adjustment, just being mature, being a grown man, getting mentored. Yeah, it's a good personal experience for these players.
Yeah. At the same time, you also got to think that it's the team that you're put on, and it's always the people that are choosing first had the worst record the previous season. And so Luka I can't say his name right all the time. Dončić? Yeah, Dončić. Luka Dončić played for the Mavs, and he was their best player. But if he played for Lakers, he's not going to be the best player because someone else would have to step up from him. So if you're going to be the best player in a Euro League or an international league, and then you come to a shitty team and you're the best player there, you're going to get recognized for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
It depends on the team that you go to.
Yeah.
Yes, Luka Dončić is pretty much a great way to exemplify this kind of different pathway.
There was a sleeper as well. Hey, how many people were chosen before
Wasn't he
him?
pretty high up in the picks?
He was but he wasn't. He was top 10, but he wasn't top 3.
He was top 3.
Was he?
Oh, at least top 5.
This is the same one with Lonzo, right?
No, it's the same one with Trae Young.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
There was
He was number 1, wasn't he? No, who was number 1?
Number 1 was DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, see, look at him now.
Look at him now.
Oh, he was third pick. He was third pick. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
he's third
bad.
pick.
Suspended.
I'll ask you this question, but I'm not sure if you sort of remember, but there was a comparison between second year Luka or second year LeBron.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know. From what I remember, I think Luka's way more complete already. Just at that kind of level in the NBA.
Mm.
The only difference between them two right now is that LeBron was more athletic.
Yeah.
Because and Luka right now he's just way more complete. He can score, he can facilitate really well. He controls the tempo of the game really well as well to the way he wants to play it.
I think second year Luka's got way better.
He's more
IQ.
flashier than last year.
I think he's got way better IQ than second year
He's just more
LeBron.
confident already.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, like just the experiencing the first time was just enough for him to kind of adjust to it, and it's like, and yeah, he brings out what he can do.
I think he's more of a complete scorer than second year LeBron too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because LeBron wasn't a 3-point shooter.
He wasn't a shooter.
He was not even a mid-range. It was just layup and passing. He was really trying to be like Magic Johnson. But Luka here, especially now that it's a 3-ball game, who cares? Like, he just shooting a 3 is much more better than being a flashy dunker.
And he's pretty good at finishing around the rim too.
Oh, I haven't seen any highlights of that.
Like, he's not the fastest.
He's pretty crafty with that.
He's crafty, yeah. And then again, it just also proves as well in the NBA, you don't have to be athletic to make it. There's a lot of, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a lot of actually like high school kids or college kids that they're really super athletic, and that's why they excel in college and high school. But when it comes to the NBA, it's just a completely different story.
Yeah, this is why I'm not a big Zion Williamson fan. I gotta say, because look, no. I'm saying this because it's no longer an athletic ball game. Because if it was, Vince Carter would still be killing it. That dude last season went up in the air and midway changed the direction. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, athletic wise, a lot of people have chosen athletic players over skilled players.
Watch Zion come back and he's like, he'll kill it.
Hey,
Zion is one of the best players.
I hope. I hope he proves me wrong. I do think he's young and he's talented, but who would I choose over Zion? I would choose R.J. Barrett. I would choose John Morant, Tyler Hero, Kyle Guy. I'd even choose over him because
also longevity wise, probably.
Yeah,
if you factor that.
Like, look, would you choose Russell Westbrook or Damian Lillard in terms of who's scoring the last point? Yeah, you got to agree with me with that one, right?
No, because Russell Westbrook he's known for just like, I don't know, his IQ wise is just not as great.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
but in terms of skill, yeah, then I'd
skill. People would rather, like, okay. On top of that, Steph Curry was a sleeper, but he has better IQ. He's more skilled. He can still lay up, but it's a 3-ball game. Would you rather have him or, I don't know?
Yeah, Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So, like, because I was watching this video, and this guy was saying, like, oh, you know, a lot of people are choosing athletic-wise. But like you said, it was only good in college and high school. Because no one knows how to play proper defense there. You don't see block highlights. Oh my gosh, this guy had 5 blocks. No one knows about that. They talk about, fuck, look at this guy. He only scored 2 points, but it was a massive dunk. You know what I mean? And John Morant last season in the NCAA had one proper highlight, and that was him posterizing someone. But he still had more points than Zion.
And then the player that actually comes into mind a lot is the player that I was actually going for in this draft was Jalen Hans. In high school, he was probably one of the most athletic players, and people are comparing him like, oh, this guy's like, you know, the next like Westbrook. But the thing is, you bring him to the NBA, like even in college as well, it only took him like kind of far, but it wasn't deep enough for him to get, like, you know, noticed.
Yeah. He wasn't. He even did try to be one and done, but then as soon as they I'm pretty sure his manager told him that you're not going to be a recruit in this top 60, and he said, "Okay, I'm going back."
Athleticism can only take you,
I think,
so far,
and that's only good if you're young and athletic. Being athletic when you're 40 years old, it's not gonna. You know what I mean?
I think good comparison was Steve Francis. Back in like the 2000s, he was a highly athletic player. Then he got injured, and it was at that point already where he hadn't developed a shot. And so once his athleticism like started to deteriorate, like he couldn't play anymore because he didn't have a shot, didn't have a plan B.
Yeah.
And so
another player, John Wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, very athletic, very defensive, very tricky and everything. But his 3-point game wasn't as strong, and his sole focus was on just finishing at the paint. But like Kobe was athletic when he started off, but he made a 3-point game. He
expanded his game.
Yeah, his main game now is mid range, and at the end of the day, they compare Froby to Black Mamba. And a lot of people are saying Black Mamba's better. Some people are saying Froby's better. But if you put Froby in the league now, he's not going to be as good as Black Mamba, because you have to be tricky. You have to have IQ. You have to have the determination. That's my 2 cents about Zion. But you get what I mean?
For sure. And that's why, like, you see LeBron, he's if you see him, like, every year he's adding something different. Like, he's not the same player. For any player, yeah. Like, he noticed, you know, he noticed it early as well. Like, it's becoming like a more offensive type of game, and he has to improve his shot, and that's why he's improved his 3-point game.
He's even like fucking 5 feet away from this.
He's getting really confident now. I'm gonna say that, super confident.
He's even
now.
like one step back.
It's not like Miami Heat days where you're like, oh, I don't know. Now it's like, yeah, shoot.
Fair enough.
See, because if Zion comes back and he develops a 3-point game, maybe he proves me wrong from there. But I haven't seen a proper 3-point game from him.
I think he'll get there though.
Zion's it's kind of like Giannis.
Yeah.
I don't think Zion's like, he doesn't seem stubborn. Like, I think he's a player that definitely wants to be really remembered and like make an impact.
Wait. A good one. Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? Ben Simmons, he was so good, but even your athleticism takes you a long way. When he versus the Celtics, clamped. Marcus Smart clamped him, bro. And he's smaller than him. He could have easily posted him, or even he could have posted him. But Ben Simmons doesn't have a post-up game. Bang. What happened to, like, you know, now everyone's like, oh my gosh, he shot a 3. It's big news. It would have been big news if you're thing, you know? Sorry, I had to write this out.
No, you're right. I reckon
it's a good point.
You gotta expand your game at one point.
Yeah.
Not just.
I'll root for Zion in 2 years, but he has to develop his game in 2 years. Within that 2 years, though.
But you're right. Like, the greatest players do expand their game. They do. You know, Michael Jordan was in the list.
He was an athletic player as well.
Yeah, and so now, and then, like, probably nearing the end of his
game,
career,
yeah.
he was more of a shooter, a scorer.
Ending his Bulls career.
Yeah,
not a fucking Wizards.
That doesn't count. That's like when Dwayne Wade left Miami Heat. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't count. He should just.
Because there's Bulls and Cousins. They don't count.
They don't count. It was a Miami Heat the whole time.
Yeah.
He just took a hiatus. That's all it was.
Just wanted a break.
Yeah, just wanted a break. Just wanted to sit on the bench for a couple years.
But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up. It's kind of, you know, hit some different parts in this episode. But yeah, again, hopefully, I don't know, Blazers can kind of figure it out with Melo. I don't know. Hopefully they do.
No, sir.
Hopefully Kemba also. Well, again, it doesn't seem as that serious, but hopefully he gets better soon.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, hopefully Luka Dončić may win MVP or be at least a strong candidate.
Maybe, sir.
And
hey, what about Jason Taylor being most improved player?
That's biased, sir.
Angela Ball.
We hope you come to Australia, play for Sydney Kings, develop your game there, then we'll ship you off to the NBA.
LaMelo and RJ, I think you'll be fine. I guess that kind of ends it. Thanks to all the fellas. Thanks for everyone who's also listening still. Continue to follow us, all this extra stuff. Hey,
I've been watching on YouTube as well, and then on our IGTV.
Yes.
Video recordings been coming out.
Giving you guys options now. Yes, we're just slowly
seeing our reactions to these, to our podcast episodes. So yeah, keep tuning in, guys.
And you want to sign off?
Okay.
That's how EJ normally does it anyways. Like, and so Clyde.
Alright. So subscribe if you're new. Join the crew. You already know what to do.
Laters.
See you.
Peace.